Hello learners, welcome to the English class. This is Kamaksha Mishra from SCERT Uttarakhand bringing you the session. Today we are going to discuss chapter 2 of our English textbook Honeysuckle for class 6, and the name of the chapter is How the Dog Found Himself a New Master. In this session, we are going to read the text with correct pronunciation. Then we'll discuss the difficult words with their meanings. And we'll try to identify some adjectives. So, let's begin with the chapter. This chapter is about how the dog found himself a new master. Earlier, dogs used to be free wild animals like lions, tigers, etc. But how they got themselves ruled by somebody is here discussed in this story. Now, let's begin. Dogs were once their own masters and lived the way wolves do, in freedom, until a dog was born who was ill-pleased with this way of life. He was sick and tired of wandering about by himself, looking for food and being frightened of those who were stronger than he. Now, a phrase is used here, ill-pleased. It means not happy. Now, what does the author tell about dogs is that long back, dogs were also free like other wild animals. Dogs भी दूसरे वाइल्ड एनिमल्स की तरह बहुत फ्री हुआ करते थे, लेकिन ये तब तक चला जब एक ऐसा डॉग पैदा हुआ जो इस तरह की ज़िंदगी से बहुत ही दुखी था, खुश नहीं था. उसे अपने लिए भोजन की तलाश में भटकना बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं लगता था. वो इससे थक चुका था और साथ ही वो ऐसे दूसरे जानवरों से डरता भी था जो उससे ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग थे. He thought it over and decided that the best thing for him to do was to become the servant of one who was stronger than anyone on earth, and he set out to find such a master. So what happened? उसने क्या डिसाइड किया? उसने ये डिसाइड किया कि उसके लिए सबसे अच्छी चीज़ ये होगी कि वो किसी एक ऐसे बीइंग का सर्वेंट बन जाए जो पूरे अर्थ में सबसे ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग हो, और उसने ऐसे मास्टर को ढूंढना शुरू कर दिया. Now, as it was discussed earlier, that we are going to identify the adjectives also. Here we come across a word called best, best thing. Now, this word best is describing this noun. So, it is an adjective. Adjectives are actually words that describe a noun. So, here best is an adjective. It is telling that the thing is quite good or very good or of a supreme quality. So, this is an adjective. He walked and he walked and he met a kinsman of his, a big wolf who was as strong as he was fierce. "Where are you going, dog?" the wolf asked. I am looking for someone to take up service with. Would you like to be my master, wolf? I don't see why not, the wolf said. And this agreed upon, the two of them went on together. Now, here, kinsman means relative, fierce means violent, and a phrase which is called to take up service with. This means to become the servant of. Now, what happened? जब डॉग चलता गया तो उसे अपना ही एक रिलेटिव रास्ते में मिला और ये कौन था? ये एक बिग वुल्फ था जो कि बहुत ही स्ट्रॉन्ग था और बहुत ही वायलेंट, बड़ा खतरनाक भी था। वुल्फ ने पूछा, डॉग तुम कहाँ जा रहे हो? डॉग ने जवाब दिया, मैं किसी ऐसे को देख रहा हूं जिसका मैं सर्वेंट बन सकूं, जिसे मैं सर्व कर सकूं, उसकी सेवा कर सकूं। क्या तुम मेरे मास्टर बनोगे? जब वुल्फ ने यह सुना तो उसने कहा, अरे मुझे तो इसमें कोई भी गलत चीज नहीं दिखाई देती। हाँ, क्यों नहीं? और उन्होंने एक अग्रीमेंट कर दिया कि वुल्फ उसका मास्टर होगा और वो दोनों आगे साथ साथ चलने लगे। They walked and all of a sudden the wolf lifted his nose, sniffed, darted quickly off the path and into the bushes and crept deeper into the forest. The dog was much surprised. What's come over you, master? He asked. What has frightened you so? Can't you see? There's a bear out there and he might eat up both of us, you and me. Now the word here is darted and it means moved quickly or suddenly. Then a phrase which is come over you and it means affected you. Now what happened here? जब वो चलते चलते आगे पहुंचे, अचानक वुल्फ ने अपनी नोज ऊपर की और जोर से सूंघा। जैसे ही उसने सूंघा वो जल्दी से भाग के बुशेस के पास छुप गया और फॉरेस्ट में अंदर चला गया। ये देखकर डॉग बहुत ही सरप्राइज्ड हो गया। उसे लगा कि अचानक ये क्या हुआ, तो उसने वुल्फ से क्वेश्चन किया, मास्टर ऐसा क्या हुआ जिसने आपको इतना ज़्यादा अफेक्ट किया? आप किस चीज़ से इतना डर गए? वुल्फ ने जवाब दिया, देखा नहीं तुमने, वहां पर एक बेयर था और वो बेयर हम दोनों को खा जाता, तुम्हें और मुझे। डॉग को समझ आया कि वुल्फ बेयर से डर गया। Seeing that the bear was stronger than the wolf, the dog decided to take up service with him and he left the wolf and asked the bear to be his master. The bear agreed to this readily and said, let us go and find a herd of cows. I'll kill a cow and then we can both eat our fill. Now here we see a word readily. Readily means easily and has a phrase eat our fill, which means to eat to one's satisfaction or पेट भरकर खाना. Now what happened? Dog ने देख लिया कि bear wolf से ज़्यादा strong है और उसने बेयर से पूछा कि क्या बेयर उसका मास्टर बनेगा। इस पर बेयर ने बहुत ही आसानी से हामी भर दी और उसे कहा कि चलो हम काउस का एक झुंड ढूंढते हैं, मैं काऊ को मारूंगा और फिर हम दोनों पेट भरकर खाना खाएंगे. They walked on and soon saw a herd of cows, but just as they were about to come up to it, they were stopped by a terrible noise. The cows were mooing loudly and running in a panic in all directions. Now, here we've seen a word called terrible, and terrible means very unpleasant. जो खराब लग रही हो, जो बहुत ही डरावनी लग रही हो, दैट इज कॉल्ड अनप्लेजेंट. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंड, जब वो आगे बढ़े तो उन्होंने काउस का एक झुंड देखा. हर्ड ऑफ काउस उन्हें मिला और जैसे ही वो उसके पास पहुंचने वाले थे, एक बहुत ही डरावनी आवाज ने उन्हें रोक दिया. काउस बहुत जोर जोर से चिल्ला रही थी और यहाँ वहाँ सारे डायरेक्शंस में, सभी दिशाओं में परेशान होकर दौड़ रही थी. नाउ हियर वी हैव सीन अ वर्ड terrible, and terrible is used before noise. Noise is a noun, आवाज, and terrible is describing that noise. It is telling what kind of a noise it is, and that is why terrible is an adjective. Similarly, you have to find other adjectives also that are used in the chapter. So, terrible is an adjective because it is describing the noun, that is noise. Noise कैसी है? Noise बहुत ही terrible या भयानक है. And here we've come across a word called herd. Herd of cows, it is written out here. Herd means jhund, so it's a collective noun because it's a collection of or a group of cows. So it's a collective noun. Now let's move on to the next slide and see what happens next in the story. The bear looked out from behind a tree and then he too ran hastily deeper into the forest. Now, why did I have to come here? Said he to the dog. It is the lion who rules the forest in these parts. The lion? Who's he? Don't you know? He is the strongest beast on earth. Well, then, I'll say goodbye to you, bear. I want a master who is stronger than anyone on earth. Now, what happened here? Bear एक पेड़ के पीछे से छिप कर देखता है कि वहाँ पर कुछ है और वो जल्दी जल्दी घने जंगल में भाग जाता है छुपने के लिए. वो डॉग से पूछता है, हे भगवान, मैं यहाँ क्यों आ गया? यहाँ तो लायन है जो फॉरेस्ट के इस एरिया में राज करता है. डॉग ने सरप्राइज होकर पूछा, लायन वो कौन है? बेयर ने जवाब दिया, तुम्हें नहीं मालूम? वो पूरे अर्थ का स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट बीस्ट है. तो इस पर डॉग ने बेयर को कहा, तो फिर मुझे आपसे अलविदा कहना होगा क्योंकि मैं उसी को अपना मास्टर चाहता हूं जो पूरे अर्थ में सबसे ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग है. नाउ हियर द वर्ड स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट describes the word beast, which is a noun. So this word strongest is an adjective which is describing the word beast. Now let's move on to the next slide. And off the dog went to ask the lion to be his master. The lion agreed to it, and the dog stayed with him and served him for a long, long time. It was a good life, and he had nothing to complain of, for there was no stronger beast in the forest than the lion, and no one dared touch the dog or offend him in any way. Now, here we've come across a word called dared. This means to be brave enough to do something. Now what happened? डॉग लायन के पास गया और उसके सामने भी सेम प्रपोजल रखा कि क्या लायन उसका मास्टर बनेगा। इस पर लायन ने अपनी सहमति दे दी। डॉग लायन के साथ रहने लगा, उसकी सेवा करने लगा और ये सब बहुत लंबे समय तक चलता रहा। ये एक बहुत अच्छी लाइफ थी। डॉग को किसी भी बात की कोई शिकायत नहीं थी, क्योंकि अब एक ऐसा स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट बीस्ट था जो कि पूरे फॉरेस्ट में सबसे ज़्यादा ताकतवर था और उसके रहते कोई भी डॉग को नुकसान पहुंचाने की जुर्रत नहीं कर सकता था। सो डॉग अब बहुत खुश था। बट one day, the two of them were walking side by side along a path that ran amid bare cliffs when all of a sudden the lion stopped. He gave a great roar and struck the ground angrily with his paw with such a force that a hole formed there. Then he began to back away very quietly. What is it, master? Is anything wrong? Asked the dog, surprised. I smell a man coming this way, the lion said. We'd better run for it or we'll be in trouble. Oh, well, then I'll say goodbye to you, lion. I want a master who is stronger than anyone on earth. Now, here is a word called cliffs, and cliffs mean a steep, high rock. What happened? एक दिन लायन और डॉग दोनों जा रहे थे। अचानक स्टीप रॉक्स के किनारे लायन रुक गया। उसने जोर से दहाड़ा और अपने पैर को बहुत फोर्स के साथ जमीन पर मारा गुस्से में, जिससे कि वहां एक होल बन गया। फिर वो बहुत ही शांति से धीरे धीरे वापस लौटने लगा। इस पर डॉग सरप्राइज हो गया और उसने पूछा, मास्टर ये सब क्या है? क्या कुछ गड़बड़ है? लायन ने जवाब दिया, मुझे किसी मनुष्य की गंध आ रही है। हमें यहां से जल्दी भाग जाना चाहिए, नहीं तो हम परेशानी में पड़ सकते हैं। जैसे ही डॉग ने ऐसा सुना, उसने लायन को जवाब दिया कि अब मुझे आपको भी गुड बाय कहना होगा, क्योंकि मुझे एक ऐसा मास्टर चाहिए जो पूरे अर्थ में सबसे ज्यादा शक्तिशाली हो। And off the dog went to join the man, and he stayed with him and served him faithfully. This happened long, long ago, but to this day, the dog is man's most loyal servant and knows no other master. Here, the highlighted word is faithfully, which means with loyalty. And then one word is loyal, which means steadfast. Now what happened? उस दिन से डॉग ने मैन को ज्वाइन कर लिया, उसके साथ रहने लगा और पूरी श्रद्धा और पूरी निष्ठा के साथ उसकी सेवा करने लगा। ये बहुत बहुत साल पहले की बात है, लेकिन आज भी डॉग मैन का सबसे ज़्यादा लॉयल सर्वेंट है और डॉग किसी भी दूसरे मास्टर को नहीं जानता, केवल मैन ही डॉग पर रूल करता है। सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द चैप्टर। नाउ हैज़ अ होम असाइनमेंट फॉर यू ऑल। The question is, you have come across a collective noun, herd of cows, used in the text. This we've discussed earlier. It means a large group of cows. A collective noun is a naming word used to refer to a group or number of animals, people, or things. List out some more collective nouns that you have read or heard. So, what you have to do, you have to list out some collective nouns that you've heard of or you know. You have to find those words that are used to describe and some animals, people, or things. Means to describe a group of animals, people, or thing, just as given here in the chapter. Group of cows is called herd. In this session, we first read the text with correct pronunciation. Then we discussed some difficult words with the meanings, and we tried to identify the adjectives that were used in the text. So, learners, I hope you all must have understood the chapter thoroughly, along with the difficult words and phrases that we've discussed here. And you must have got to know how dog, who once used to be a free wild animal, got tamed and got a master to rule over him. This is all about the session. We'll be back with the new part of this chapter in the next session. Till then, take care of yourselves. Bye bye.